What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So today, March 4th, 2022 marks my 5th year anniversary with this car. I bought this car March 4th of 2017. I was getting out of my attempt at trying a dad car. We had one kid at the time. I was driving a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee with the Altitude trim. It was a really nice SUV, but I just could not handle the dad car. I sold my 2013 WRX hatchback to get the Jeep. Like I said, we were having our first kid at the time. I was trying out the whole dad car thing. And about 4 to 5 months into that lease, I just couldn't do it. I just could not handle the larger automatic SUV type of car. It was just not for me, and I severely missed driving a really fun car. Now, when I was looking to get back into a fun car, I wanted something that was manual, 4 doors, all-wheel drive, something fun to modify and drive, but not be overly expensive. There was a few other cars that I had on my list that I was looking at. At the time, the Type R, the Civic Type R was not available. The Focus RS was just starting to come out, and they were asking, 15, 20K over MSRP. And I briefly looked at it, but I was not a fan of it. It just didn't do it for me. I was looking at Golf Rs, GTIs. I was also looking at a BMW E90 M3. And ultimately, the STI was the car that just checked all the boxes for me. It literally was everything I was looking for. It's fun, it's 4 doors, it's all-wheel drive. The aftermarket support on these cars is insane. It's relatively cheap to maintain. There's no crazy service intervals like there is in BMW. Every 30,000 miles or so, there's this crazy maintenance that you need to do. It's just a really simplistic, easy car to own and drive. So if you guys recognize this spot, 1 year ago, I was actually in this same spot going over my 4-year ownership. I went over my entire ownership of my 4 years, kind of my thoughts and opinions on the car, what it has done for me, what it means to me. And I remember saying that I hope to be back in the same spot a year later on my 5th anniversary doing the same thing. So here we are doing our 5-year anniversary on the car. One of the questions that people ask me is it expensive to maintain? What kind of cost is associated with owning one of these cars? And to be completely honest, it is the cheapest and most reliable car I have ever owned in my entire life. Over the course of my 5 years, I spent less than $1,000 on maintenance. That's basic oil changes, doing coolant flushes, the diff and transmission flush, any filters, anything like that, spark plugs. It literally has been less than $1,000. And granted, I did all this work myself to save on labor. Plus, I enjoy doing it myself. But even going to a dealer or a reputable shop, you're really not going to spend much more than that. That is one of the best parts about these cars. They're just basic maintenance. There's nothing crazy that you need to do over your ownership to make sure they're running in tip-top shape. All you need to do is just make sure you're doing it on time or before, and I promise you it's going to give you an amazing and fun ownership. So back on March 4th of 2017, like I said, I was looking for a car that kind of checked all the boxes for me. And ultimately, it led me to my local Subaru dealer. I was talking with my salesman. I was getting ready to purchase this car. He said, hey, why don't you go out, take the 2017 brand new WRX Limited for a spin. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of focused on the STI. That's what I've always wanted, but let me go out and drive the WRX. So he gave me the keys. I went out for a little spin, and I was very, very surprised. I can't believe how much I actually liked it. It was a really, really enjoyable experience. Very, very comfortable. For me, I felt like it was more geared towards daily driving, comparing the STI. The STI felt more raw. So he put that seed in my mind, and I was like, maybe I should get a WRX. But ultimately, we all know where that ended up. In my mind, I just could not leave the dealership without an STI. I actually owned a WRX, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Granted, it was a previous generation, but just the thought of driving off in another WRX, granted, it was different than my other one and not the STI. It just did not sit well with me. So ultimately, we landed on this car. This is a 2017 base STI in lapis blue. Didn't come with many options at all, and that is exactly what I wanted. I did not want the Limited. I don't like the Subaru leather. I didn't need the sunroof. I wanted the bare bones. I didn't want to pay for anything extra because I knew ultimately I was going to start modifying it and kind of making it my own. Now, as you guys can tell, I have done quite a few modifications to this car over my 5 years, but that is what's fun for me. That is one of the things that I really, really enjoy doing with my cars. I like upgrading things that I feel need a little bit of attention. And to me, this car is on a completely different level than when it was when I drove it off the dealer lot. Don't get me wrong, these cars are fantastic in their stock form. They handle very well. The power alone, you really don't need that much more for the street. lots of fun. It's a usable power. A lot of the cars that are coming out these days have crazy horsepower that you literally cannot use anywhere on the streets safely. So I always enjoy having usable power, something that you can use every single day, and this is exactly that. Now, you guys know I went through a few different power stages with this car over my ownership. That is what Subaru guys kind of classify what power they're at. So right now I'm pushing 340 horsepower with 352 foot-pounds of torque at stage 3, fueling mods and all the reliability mods and everything. I have tons of videos on that, but it is absolutely perfect. I love where this car is sitting. It's unbelievably reliable, so much fun. Honestly, it is probably one of the best handling cars I've ever owned. And I've owned some really fun, nice handling cars in the past, but this is by far my most favorite one. Now, me being a car guy, it's natural to want to try other things in this world, other experiences, other platforms, other cars. In the past, every 2 to 3 years or so, I've gotten the itch to get something else. I was ready to move on to a new car, a new platform, just to have fun with something else, experience a new experience, and, see what else is out there. But with this car, I'm not sure what it is, but I am having the hardest time to even thinking about selling it. Now, if you guys know, I flirted with the idea twice this past year, once in the summer, and then once again, actually, I took a deposit on it not too long ago, but thankfully that fell through. And going through those experiences literally just made me realize how important this car is to me, how fun it is, just how perfect it is for my current lifestyle and what I need in a car. There is literally nothing on the market in this price category that touches the STI. Obviously today out there are new cars that are technically better, they're faster, obviously a little bit more expensive. They may look a little bit better. Obviously that is subjective. But for me, honestly, there is nothing that competes with this. This is old technology. And what I mean by that is there's no driver's aid. There's nothing that gets in your way of actually experiencing what this car is all about. You get in, you shift the gears yourself, you steer it yourself. You don't change different dynamics, change different suspension setups, change the way the steering wheel feels, anything like that. It doesn't rev match for you, nothing. You literally get in the driver's seat, you drive it. Whatever input you put into the car is what you receive. It's extremely forgiving. Every little input you put in the road, you feel it. It's a very, very raw experience. Everything these days, I feel like, is so watered down. It's just geared more towards car sales and just bringing people in as opposed to the real enthusiasts. And every single day that I walk out into the garage, see this car, get the keys, go for a drive, I cannot even describe to you how grateful I am that I get to own a car like this and, have it at this level and it be mine. It is a great feeling that I never take for granted. So yeah, that wraps up my 5-year ownership with this car. I could not be more happy with my experience. Like I said, it has been trouble-free, zero problems. It has never left me stranded. It has never even given me a single hiccup. And that honestly should tell you a lot. I've done videos before on the reliability of these kinds of cars and just what you need to do to actually make them reliable. A lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth about these things because they just don't understand what it takes to actually make sure these things last a long time. And I'm a perfect example of that. I made sure that I was doing the maintenance on time or before. Any modification that I did was a very, very reputable brand and I did it right. Did all the reliability and supporting mods with it. So as long as you follow that philosophy, your ownership of your WRX or STI is going to be amazing. And I guarantee you it is going to be the most fun car you have ever had. So if you guys have any questions at all about my STI, about anything in terms of my ownership and my 5 years, please ask them in the comments below. Obviously, I can talk about this for hours since I enjoy this car so much, but if you have anything specific, I'll be happy to answer. Go into more detail about that in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.